Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Part 2 gang, y'all. Let's get it, y'all. Part 2 gang, y'all. Let's get it. Like, share, subscribe, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. Man, that joke was crazy. I was in there messing with the boy, man. Man, I was like, I just backed up on like, did a silent scan. I was like, shit rolling over the whole time he came from Augusta. I was like, should have known it, man. But I ain't say nothing. No, bro was like, man, what are you doing in here, man, with the boy, man? What's wrong with you, man? What you got going on, Lucas, man? He was like, man, look, man, first of all, let's just keep that between us, man. Weezy, don't say nothing about that, man, because look, man, I ain't gay for real, bro. It's like, what you mean you ain't like that for real? What you mean? He was like, man, look, man, I just, you know what I mean? I just, pardon me for this language, y'all. Like, this is explicit stuff right here coming up. But pause the whole story. I might miss a pause, so pause the whole story. The man said, man, I just got my meat hit, man. You know, I just got some head, man. You know what I mean? That's all I do, man. Like, I ain't gay, bro. Like, I ain't trying to catch no AIDS, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't be messing around like that. I just get some little from time to time. You know what I mean? I'm like I'm just listening to him, like, right? He trying to justify being a shake, rattle, and roller now. There's nothing wrong with being a shake, rattle, and roller if that's what you choose to do with your life. But I'm talking about dudes like this to try to hide this stuff, man. He's trying to hide it, man. I told y'all who he is to his little homeboys. So I'm just standing there like, this isn't the first time. I'm like, man, this is crazy right here. He got caught red-handed. We caught him, like, right there. We was right there. We went in the bathroom. I seen 4 legs, man. I seen 4 legs. It was 4 legs in that bathroom stall. It was 4 legs. So we don't talk it out of that, y'all. He couldn't talk his way out of that. So he just went on and came clean with the jump, man. The man talking about, man, I ain't trying to catch this, man. That's why he trying to justify being a shake, rattle, and roll. You don't have to do that, brother. I already know he was in Augusta going maniac mode. You know what I mean? He was doing maniac. He was going maniac mode on the shake, rattle, and roll. I already know when he was in the mountains. But I'm just letting him go. Like, I ain't got time for me explaining. He explained that jump to Pete. Pete standing there like this. Pete like, that jump crazy, man. That jump crazy, man. Like, that's crazy, man. I can't believe you, Lucas, man. Lucas was like, what you mean you can't believe me? Like, what do you mean it's my business though, man? Like, he was like, man, look. He was like, y'all ain't even supposed to be over here today. What y'all doing over here today anyway? He was like, man, the lady needed us today. He was like, man, that jump crazy, man. He was like, man, but Weezy, look, man. Don't tell nobody Weezy, man. Come on, Weezy, man. I was like, bro, listen, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing, y'all. That's my word. He was like, Pete, man, don't say nothing, man. Pete was like, man, all right, man. He walked away. I promise you, when he walked away, I was like this behind my back, y'all. And my fingers crossed, man. So boom. Y'all know I'm petty, man. But like, for real, I won't go throw him under the bus unless he has to get thrown under the bus. I'm not gonna just, you know what I mean? If I would say something to somebody, it's a reliable source. So my fingers was crossed, even though I told him I ain't gonna say nothing, you know what I mean? That's what it was, man. Pete did the same thing. So he dipped off, act like everything was normal, start going back doing his job. So he walked off. Pete was like, man, that's crazy. So we looked, the boy, he was talking to the boy down there a little bit. Like, you could tell he was like, you know what I mean? They weren't like close up talking, but he probably was telling him like, yeah, they seen us, man. You know what I mean? The boy probably was like, so? You know what I mean? The boy ain't care. He was shaking while and rolling, y'all. So the boy ain't care. The boy ain't care. The boy probably was like, so? You know what I mean? So he down there trying to explain himself to the boy. So, you know what I mean? The rest of that day we was working, man, it was awkward. It was an awkward feeling. It was an awkward situation, especially for the dude Lucas, because the whole time I would catch him sometime like probably pondering, like he'll look my direction, I'll see him pondering to himself, and I read his brain was saying, man, I wonder if Weezy gonna say something, man. Like, I wonder if Weezy gonna put me on blast, man. I wonder if he gonna tell my business, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what he keep thinking. So his day felt long behind us catching him like this, man. You know what I mean? But I ain't got no problem with him, man. And for real, I don't really want to throw him under the bus like that. I'm not. Like, but like I say, though, it's all how he carried. If that's how you want to live, man, live your life to live like that, man. You know what I mean? My whole thing was to see how he was carrying it when he come back to the pod. So we got back to the pod before him. You know what I mean? We got back to the pod before him, man. And like, Pete was moving around, I was moving around. Like me and Pete won't even talk about it no more. You know, that was a funny thing to catch a dude like that red-handed, y'all. Like we caught him red-handed, man. I'm talking about red-handed, shake, rattling, and rolling. You know what I mean? So like that was wild. So like when he came back to the block, he went right back to being the big OG dude from his little city. So like, you know, dude pulling up on him, hey, look, you know what I mean? He like this, yeah, he done went, like when he come from work, he'll chill for a minute, he'll come out and work, do his push-ups. You know what I mean? So he back doing that jump. You know what I mean? Back working out, chilling with the little young boys and stuff. So I'm just like, the whole time just watching them, man. I'm like, man, you can't really trust nobody in penitentiary. Like penitentiary is wicked, man. Because you're like the dude that you think that's your guy, like he could be a shake, rattle, and roller the whole time. He hitting your feezy, eating with your food, eating your food, and the whole time he's a shake, rattle, and like you don't know what these guys be up to, man. Prison is one of these like crazy places, man, where you will never know what's going on with dudes, man. But Lucas was a shake, rattle, and roller. It was a known fact, y'all. So boom, he couldn't hide that jump, man. It's my word. Lucas put up on me that same night. He was like, hey, Weezy, hey, look. He said, man, look, my roommate made me a lasagna, man. He was like, look, I can't eat all of it, man. You want half of it? I was like, do I want half of it? First of all, that sounded crazy. Do I want half of it? Like, I was like, half of it? I was like, what you mean? He was like, no, I'm just offering. You ever had a lasagna? I was like, nah, I ain't never had no lasagna. And I did, you know what I mean? I never had no lasagna. Lasagna takes a long time to make. You know what I mean? You gotta have the right things and it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I ain't had no lasagna. I ain't never had no lasagna. He was like, no, I'm just offering. You know what I mean? Because I know you probably never had it before though, man. He was like, we cool though, right? I was like, yeah, we cool. He was like, well, I'm just checking, man. I gotta make sure you eating good. I was like, yeah, everything good. He was like, I was like, yeah, everything good, bro. You know what I mean? He was like, all right. He dip off. When he dip off, I pull up on Pete. I was like, yo, why he just come ask me, do I want half of his lasagna? Like, he trying to bribe me and look out. Pete was like, yeah. He pulled up on me today, asked me, was I straight? Did I need anything that I want to get in on the lasagna? He was like, I told him I was good. I told him I was good, man. You know what I mean? I'm like, man. I said, Pete, you told anybody, man? He was like, I ain't tell nobody, man. He was like, man, I told one person, man. I said, I know you did, man. I said, who you tell? He was like, man, I told the dude that's next door, man. You know what I mean? He was like, dude next door, who I told him 4D. You know what I mean? I was like, for real, man. I was like, I ain't saying nothing. I said, I ain't saying that. I said, I ain't saying nothing. I said, but I do want to holler at my roommate about it, man. I said, my roommate ain't gonna say nothing. I said, because he ain't gonna believe it. He ain't gonna believe it, man. He was like, man, damn, man. He was like, he got caught, man. He shake, rattle, and roll. Like, it is what it is. So I'm like, man, I ain't gonna try. I'm not trying to be the one that he feel like he got a problem with because we put his business out there, though. You know what I mean? I was like, that's a different story. Like, he was like, man, look, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, man. He was like, man, listen, I ain't thinking about doing. You know what I mean? That's what it was. So, bro, dipped off. I dipped off. I went to sale. So when I went to sale, my roommate was in there. So the lady closed the door. So I get stuck in there. We still got Empire Rec going on. So I'm in the cell with him. I said, bro, look, bro, you ain't gonna believe this, bro. He like, what? I said, man, you can't say nothing about this. He was like, what? I said, put your word on it, bro. You can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. He was like, all right, man, that's my word. I was like, bro, that's your word. He was like, man, that's my word, bro. I said, man, listen, you ain't gonna believe, bro, who we caught in the support building, shake, rattling, and rolling in the bathroom, bro. He was like, who? He in our pod. I was like, yes. He was like, who? He said, man, don't tell me who it is. He said, man, you better not say who I think it is. I said, yes, bro. Because there weren't a lot of people in our, it was only one person in our pod that worked in the support building. Like, everybody else was under special assignments, coming through to help with different things. I said, yes, bro. So, like, you know what I mean? There only could be one person. So I said, bro, yes. Lucas, bro. He was like, what? He's like, man, for real. I said, bro, with the little ugly, great-faced dude that look like freaking bootleg K. Michelle in the face, man. I said, man, look, this is my word, bro. I said, we go in the bathroom, bro. I said, man, we seen 4 legs on the, under the, you know, like on the stall. I said, bro, we seen 4 legs, bro. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, bro. He was like, that's crazy. He was like, I'm gonna tell you the crazy thing about that is. He was like, the crazy thing about that is, bro. He was like, man, for real. He was like, dude, got somebody up here that he rock with, you know, that working that support building, man. I'm telling you, man. I was like, why you say that? He said, because he always come back with food. He always come back with this. He always got some sweet glasses or a new watch. He always got somebody bring it to him. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? He was like, and he might be in there messing with a woman. I was like, oh, just to think about that. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, but I haven't seen him like mess with no women. I was like, I know he locked in the joint. He was like, however he's playing it, man. He was like, he got it like nobody don't know that's what he doing. But I'm like, that's crazy. I was like, bro, why you gonna have the best of both worlds though? Like, I don't understand why dudes be trying to do what Jay-Z and R. Kelly could never accomplish, man. You cannot have the best of both worlds, y'all. It's never gonna work, man. So boom. So I'm like, man, he better not be in there messing with no lady, man. I said, that's why I draw the line in saying that. Bro, he was like, so what he say? How you know y'all seen him? I was like, bro, because he heard us come in the bathroom. I said, the man tried to play it off and had a wet floor sign by the door for nobody could walk over that direction where the bathroom is at. I was like, we walked right on the wet floor and went up in the bathroom. I said, man, so he probably already knew we caught him, so he just came out and confessed and just told us don't say nothing, you know what I mean? So my roommate like, man, like, I mean, let him, man, like, let him live, bro. I was like, bro, I'm not here to freaking run around and tell everybody he shake, rattle, and rolling, bro. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I don't really care, you know what I mean? But I was like, look, you the only person I told. I was like, bro, Pete said he told somebody that's in 4D, you know what I mean? So I'm like, man, that junk crazy, man. So a little bit later, so dude Lucas came back from work. When he come back from work, he tried to do his little routine, working out again, you know what I mean? But this time around, he had called Pete to the back. You know what I mean? So the back is like by cell 22. The dude Lucas slept in like cell 18. You know what I mean? So he called Pete to the back. So him and Pete back there talking. You know what I mean? So Pete was like, hey, Weezy. I was like, shh. Yo. He was like, hey, come here right quick. I was like, I walked over there, Joe. As soon as I walked over there, Lucas was like, man, your homeboy terrible, man. Your homeboy terrible, man. I was like, what? He was like, he told me he won't go tell nobody. He said the first thing he do is tell somebody that I know. Dude come back and tell me. He was like, but it's cool though, cause that's like my homeboy though, so he ain't gonna say nothing though. But he was like, man, that's crazy though. Pete, we went back. Pete was like, man, I told one person, man. He said, what are the chances of him being your homeboy? He was like, man, look, nobody know I rock with him like that, man. He was like, look, just don't say nothing, man. Y'all don't say nothing, man. I was like, I'm looking at bro. I'm like, yo, bro, you keep saying that though, bro. Like, listen, I was like, you ain't gotta keep like straightening me. Not to say nothing, bro. Like I said, bro, what I look like I care about what you got going on, bro? I said, you just got caught. At the end of the day, I said, but what's in the dark will always come to light, bro. Like, you know, what you want me to do, man? He was like, man, I'm just saying, man, like, don't nobody know, bro. So, like, just keep that between us, bro. Like, it's nobody business, man, what I'm doing. He was like, it's nobody business when I'm putting my thingaling in. Y'all know what the real words he said. I was like, yo, thingaling. He said that, definitely. He said the other word, the D word. I was like, bro, like, you wild, man. I was like, you wild, man. He was like, I'm saying, though, like for real though, man, like, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to hold y'all. Like, he got loud like this and everything. He was like, I'm just trying to hold y'all to be man of y'all word. I want you to be a man of your word. That's all. I'm like, I said, bro, listen, the way we stumbled across what was going on, bro, I said, we never supposed to have stumbled across that, man. I said, man, at the end of the day, bro, if you want to shake, rattle, and roll, bro, for the rest of your life, man, I said, do you, man. I said, I don't care about you shake, rattle, and roll in that bathroom, bro. So, boom. I said, bro, listen, I don't care about you shake, rattle, and roll in that bathroom, bro. So, boom. I had to let him know, man. I had to give him an account for you ain't got to keep acting like you got animosity with me. Because I don't care about that animosity, bro. Like, I do not care about that, man. Like, and I already know what y'all thinking. I'm going to be a scumbag in this video, and I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. And I already let the cat out the bag because I told my roommate. But still, though, man, like, nah, I won't on it. Like, I was trying to sabotage him. You know what I mean? Because I already know somebody like him is not going to be able to handle everybody knowing that he's shit, rattling, rolling. But for real, he need to come out the closet like R. Kelly. That's what he need to do, man. Because at the end of the day, man, like I told y'all, that information always get leaks. That information always leaks out, man. That's a fact. You can ask anybody that did prison bid, man. So, like, he said what he had to say. I said what I had to say, and I guess that was that. So he walked his direction. We did. You know what I mean? So I had told Pete, I'm like, yo, bro, listen, bro, dude can't keep pulling up on me. Don't be calling me and talking. I said, bro, I don't care about this stuff, bro. He's like, man, I don't care either, but like, he's so worried about if we gonna tell somebody and all this. I'm like, yo, bro, listen, man. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for that. I was like, but look though, bro. I said, somebody told me he might be dealing with somebody that working there, John. He was like, for real? Pete said, for real? I was like, yeah. He was like, who told you that? I was like, I ain't want to tell him. I told my roommate. I was like, bro, I ain't putting nobody. I ain't telling you who said it, Joe. He was like, I'm saying, I'm just asking because it's a fact. He was like, because like that's what I'm trying to bag. He was like, now if he got somebody, and then, you know what I mean? I'm going to see if he can make it happen. Then, if he can make it happen, can you get something? I said, I thought about it. And, like, for real, y'all already know how I like the money. Y'all already know how I be chasing the la-la. So when a situation comes up like this, y'all already know I be right there. I be right there trying to put my hands on it, trying to make it happen, man. But, like, for some reason, this play right here, this play didn't feel right to me, man. Like, you want us to, like, you want me to, you going to pull up on this dude and tell him he got to do, like, dude is a psycho. I already know he is, man. But he already know he gonna have a problem with me. You know what I mean? And he gonna have a problem with Pete. He already knew that. So if this was some freaking like this pushover type of dudes, man, this man would have already snapped out, y'all. So boom. So I'm not dealing with that play. I don't really deal with that. I was like, nah, bro, I can't get nothing. He was like, you ain't trying. I was like, nah. He was like, man, I'm gonna holler at him. I'm gonna holler at him, I'm just gonna tell him be honest. I'm just gonna tell him be honest, Weezy, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can't lie. He want us to be honest and don't throw him under the bus. I said, bro, you already messed up because you done told somebody that went back and told him. He was like, man, look, I ain't got time for that, man. He was like, Lucas, man, right now, he trying to hide from them young boys. He was like, them young boys find out and he shake rolling and rolling. He said, man, I done seen him eat food with the young boy. He said, man, I even seen the young boy put him on the phone with his mama. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, one of the young boys put him on the phone with his mama. I'm like, put him on the phone with his mama? He was like, bro, they look up to him, man. I was like, man, that's the wrong person to look up to, y'all. So boom. Not because he's shake rolling and rolling, just because like his life is a lie. You know what I mean? He's living in the freaking closet basically, man. Like he don't want to come out. You know what I mean? So like things like this, it can get real touchy, y'all, in prison, man, because you have some people that'll really hurt you, man, for like putting them on blast, man. Like usually a boy will put you on blast. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I done seen dudes go at them. So like you gotta be careful with that junk, man. Either way, you have to be careful. So like that's why I decided not to really like get involved with none of this blackmail or whatever Pete was thinking. You know what I mean? Like I don't even think the blackmail was gonna work. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking like once he probably tried to come with a proposition, I was gonna be like, yo, bro was gonna probably be, I was saying to myself, bro probably was gonna be like, man, do whatever you gotta do. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking, because I'm just like, yo, like, he know bro done told somebody. Like, it's crazy. Like, I didn't understand what his purpose was. I didn't understand what he was gonna do around this time, y'all. So the plan that Pete had, I said I was gonna chill, man. I said I didn't want nothing to do with that plan. I was gonna let Pete do him, man, because it just didn't have nothing to do with me, man. Like, and even with that being said, like, I stayed away from the support building on that Friday. When that Friday came and Pete told me let's go, I was like, nah. I went on and just faded to black, y'all. Like, I didn't feel like I had purpose in it no more. I didn't want to look at the boy. I already know the boy. I already know the dude. I already know that Lucas probably told the boy, like, yeah, Weezy and Pete know. And I didn't want to look at his face. I didn't want to look at freaking Lucas' face, even though he's in the block. I wanted to show Lucas, like, yo, listen, as much as I don't care about what you did in that bathroom, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you, man. I don't even want to work the support building no more, y'all. So boom. So the lady called my name. I was like, nah, I'm good. She was like, you ain't going? I was like, nah, I'm good. Pete was like, what's up? I was like, he walked over there. He was like, hey, look, you ain't going, Weez? I'm like, nah, bro. He was like, why? I was like, cuz, man. Like, it's just too much going on over there, bro. I was like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? I ain't got time to be getting into it with Lucas, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just stupid. I don't want to do it, bro. You know what I mean? He was like, I ain't think about Lucas, man. He was like, man, look. Nah, he was like, man, I ain't tripping on that, man. He was like, nah, I'm going to see if he got something going on. I'm going to ask him straight up. Because if he do, man, he need to let me in, man. Like, I'm trying to get in the whole time. Whole time he got something going on. He was like, man, I hope that person that told you that ain't lied, Weez. I'm like, bro, don't do it. I said, I don't know if he's lying or not. I said, but just don't do it, bro. Don't do it. He was like, no, I'm going to do it, Weezy, man. He was like, because he keep trying to pull up on us and ask us about this. I'm like, bro, look, do you then? I ain't going to support building. He was like, all right, you know what I mean? He left. He went to support building. So he was gone for a minute, you know what I mean? This was on a Friday. We went to eat, lunch, came back. We was in the pod, a little bit of time, chilling before we got to go to outside break that's coming up soon. So I look, I see the slide open up. I see Pete coming back through the joint. So Pete come back through the joint. Pete sleep in cell 5. He come back through the joint. He's like, hey, open up my door. Lady opened his door. He walked in the cell. He came back out with his cup. You know what I mean? He walked to the hot water joint. You know what I mean? I see him. I'm like, what's up? Everything good? I'm just being nosy now. I'm like, what's up? Everything good, Pete? He like, I walked up close. I'm like, what happened? He was like, man, it's my word, man. It's my word, everything, man. He was like, man, I hollered at him, man. I told him, man, like, look, man, what's up, man? Let me in the car. I know you got something going on, man. Let me get something. Let me get somebody to bring me something. I was like, you said it like that? He was like, yeah, I said it like that. He was like, he owe us. I said, nah, he owe you. He don't owe me nothing. I don't have nothing to do with what he got going on. He was like, man, I told him straight up, man. I told him straight up, man. I said, what'd he say? He said, man, that man said when he come back in the pod, we got to fight. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, he said we come back from work, we got to fight. I'm like, man. I said, look at you, bro. I said, look at you, bro. For you trying to do a bribe game, now you got to fight a shake, roller, and roller, bro. So boom. He was like, man, for real? Like, I don't see where the disrespect came in at, Weezy. Like, he must be want to turn up in here, man. Because if he think he gonna come in here and scream on me, I'm gonna tell everybody he goddamn was getting some head from that goddamn boy. I'm like, God damn, well, this shit about to be crazy in the jump, bro. I was like, man, do you, man? I'm gonna get the hell out of the way. I'm gonna get the hell out of the way. This is my word. I'm gonna get the hell out of the way, man. I promise you, man. Dude, come back. Lucas come back from work. He come back from work, man. This is exactly what Lucas do, man. Lucas come back from work. He go to the booth, tell the lady open his door. The lady opened his door. He went in the cell. He threw the cut up. The cut was up for a minute. He came out at cell break. When he came out at cell break, he was fully dressed like he was about to whoop some ass. You can tell what people got on when they about to whoop some ass. You can tell the outfit, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a t-shirt, the scrubs, or the freaking, you know what I mean, the goddamn sweatpants, shorts, goddamn shoes tied tight. You can just tell the outfit, you know what I mean? So he come out, he had the sweatpants on, no short sweatshirt, white beater on, you know what I mean? So his shoes tied tight. He come out the joint. First thing he looked at was me. I was on the top 10. He was like, I do like this. I start looking that way, yo. I was like, I ain't looking at you, man. You know what I mean? He like this, he like, hey, Pete. Hey, Pete, let me holler at you, man. Let me holler at you right quick, man. Let me holler at you right quick. I was like, oh, shit. That's my word, goddamn. Pete was like, Pete walked over there. I'm like, what Pete doing? Pete walked over there and looked. Bro was already in his cell. Bro was already in his cell, man. Cell 18. That's the cell that got down. Lucas, he was already standing by his cell. I look, Pete going into the damn cell. Man, as soon as Pete went in that goddamn cell, man, that's all you heard.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.